You don't just dislike clutter. You physically recoil from it. You walk into a room and you feel it before you see it. A tightness in the center of your chest. A low-grade hum of anxiety that you can't quite locate. It is not a disaster zone. To anyone else, it is just a normal living space. A stack of unread mail on the counter. A jacket draped over the back of a chair. A few too many magnets on the fridge. But to you, it feels like screaming. You cannot sit down. You cannot focus. You cannot even exist in the space until the surfaces are clear. You catch yourself shoving things into drawers. You aren't organizing them. You are just hiding them. You are desperate for that specific hit of dopamine that comes from seeing a blank, empty surface. You tell yourself you are just neat. You tell yourself you are a perfectionist. But deep down, you know it is something else. Because when you visit a friend's house that is filled with knickknacks, souvenirs, and photos, you don't feel cozy. You feel suffocated. You feel a phantom itch to start cleaning a house that isn't even yours. Why does a coffee mug left on a table feel like a personal attack on your peace of mind? Why does a blank white wall feel like a warm hug? You are not just a minimalist. And this is not about interior design. This is about a nervous system that is trying to survive. You are not cleaning your room. You are trying to silence the noise inside your head. Let's look at the truth about why you are obsessed with empty spaces. To understand this compulsion, we have to look at how your brain processes the world. You might think you can just ignore the pile of laundry in the corner. You think your eyes just slide past it. But neuroscience tells us something very different. Your brain does not have a passive mode for vision. Every single object that enters your field of view is a piece of data. It is a stimulus that your brain must identify, categorize, and decide what to do with. Think of your brain like a computer with a limited amount of RAM. This is your working memory. It is the energy you have available to solve problems, regulate emotions, and get through the day. Every object in your room is like an open browser tab running in the background. That stack of papers is a tab. The unwashed mug is a tab. The tangled cables are a tab. They might seem small, but they are eating up your processing power. This is what psychologists call visual noise. For most people, they have a high filter. They can walk past the mess, and their brain successfully mutes it. It becomes background static. But you are different. You likely have a low latent inhibition regarding your environment. Your filter is thin. Your brain doesn't just see a messy desk. It sees 20 individual tasks screaming for attention. The book says, read me. The receipt says, file me. The dust says, wipe me. This is why you feel tired even when you haven't done anything physically demanding. You are suffering from constant micro-decision fatigue. Before you have even had your morning coffee, your brain has unconsciously processed 1,000 decisions based on the objects around you. You aren't just looking at your room. You are reading it like a chaotic manuscript that never ends. This triggers a very primal response. When your environment feels visually loud, your amygdala, the threat detection center of your brain, wakes up. In human evolution, visual chaos often meant danger. It meant a predator could be hiding in the brush. Open, clear spaces meant safety. They meant visibility. So when your home is cluttered, your body releases a steady drip of cortisol, the stress hormone. You are chemically incapable of relaxing because your biology is telling you that you are not safe. This brings us to the first type of behavior, the surface cleaner. This is why you shove things into drawers. This is why you throw away things you might actually need later. You aren't trying to be organized. You are trying to lower your cortisol levels. You are trying to manually close the browser tabs so your system doesn't crash. You are trading utility for serenity. You would rather lose a receipt than look at it for one more second. You are not cleaning for hygiene. You are cleaning for silence. But there is a deeper layer here. If we peel back the anxiety and the sensory overload, we find something even more profound. This isn't just about your eyes. It is about your sense of agency. This brings us to the third type, the architect of control. Psychologically, humans have a fundamental need for cognitive closure. We need to know that things are finished, settled, and under control. When you leave a task unfinished, Your brain keeps a tension loop open. This is called the Zeigarnik effect. A cluttered room is essentially 1,000 unfinished tasks screaming at you simultaneously. It is a monument to procrastination and uncertainty. But here is the twist. Your obsession with empty space often spikes when the rest of your life feels chaotic. Think about it. When work is stressful, when your relationships are undefined, when your future feels foggy, that is when you start cleaning. That is when you suddenly need to declutter your wardrobe at 2 a.m. You are using your environment to regulate your internal state. You cannot control your boss. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control what people think of you. But you can control what is on your desk. You can control the alignment of your books. By creating a vacuum of space around you, you are creating a vacuum of problems. You are building a sanctuary where the variables are zero. This is not a weakness. It is a sophisticated survival strategy. You are an essentialist. In a world that is constantly trying to sell you more information, more products, more noise, you have the rare ability to say, enough. You are protecting your mental real estate. That empty table is not empty. It is potential. It is a blank canvas. When a space is filled, its story is told. When a space is empty, anything can happen there. You aren't obsessed with nothingness. You are obsessed with possibility. You are clearing the weeds so something new can actually grow. You are creating the physical space for the mental breakthrough you have been waiting for. So, stop fighting your nature. You do not need to cure this. You are not broken because you need order. You are simply highly sensitive to your visual environment. And in a loud world, that sensitivity is actually a gift. It means you are attuned to details. It means you appreciate harmony. But be careful. Do not let the pursuit of the perfectly empty room become a new source of stress. Do not become a prisoner of the white space. The goal is not a sterile laboratory. The goal is a functional sanctuary. Here is a micro step you can take today. It is called the sanctuary zone. Do not try to declutter your whole life at once. Just pick one specific area. Maybe it is your nightstand. Maybe it is just the left corner of your desk. Make a pact with yourself. This 1 square foot remains sacred. This space stays empty. It is your visual anchor. When the world feels loud, when your thoughts are racing, you can look at that empty space. Let your eyes rest there. Let your brain close the tabs. You are not cold. You are not boring. You are simply a curator. You are choosing to keep your external world quiet so that your internal world can finally speak. Remember, you are not empty. You are just making room for what truly matters. You are not a broken machine. You are a masterpiece in progress.